Over the last 4 years of riding trials bikes, I've focused a good bit of my time and attention on learning the cool and sexy, exciting stuff of trials. I'm talking about stuff like hopping and zaps, splatters, all the things you see on TV and X Trials and shorts. The stuff that big boys are doing, the cool moves, and honestly, it's a lot of fun. Let's call those alpha skills, if you will, the things the top riders are doing. Well, today I'm going to be sharing with you why I got a Beta 200, because I want to go back to the basics. My own competition riding has reached somewhat of a plateau because my body posture, throttle control, and turning have always suffered. By focusing too much attention on the stuff that tends to get you hits on YouTube, I've neglected learning proper body position, especially on cambered turns. It becomes more apparent on cambered turns when oftentimes I'm leaning forward, my head dips to the inside, and then I apply too much throttle and try to bail out of a turn and fall to the inside or spin the back tire. I didn't grow up riding trials as a kid, and whatever bad habits I have are most likely from the time I spent on a motocross bike before riding trials. So I'm going to be dedicating this off-season to working on turns and body position. It becomes apparent on these cambered hills. So I got the best turning bike you can get, a Beta. These things turn super tight. So tight that you can actually somewhat push the front tire or tuck it underneath you. It happens most often when you're trying to force a turn with your hands instead of using peg pressure to turn the motorcycle. Now, if you haven't seen the video I made with Ray Peters talking about engine size, that conversation and type of thinking was a large influence on why I made this decision on a 200, along with an interview from Dr. Chris Pizzelli on the science of learning trials. You can find those videos in the description below. Now, when it comes to Beta, their support at nationals, on their websites, or local dealers is phenomenal. Their slogan is rideability, and I really consider that true. The 200 is a step down from my previous CC bikes. I started out on a 250, went up to a 300, then a 300 Gold, before realizing it's not always better to have a bigger engine. After coming back to a 250 Vertigo, which was an interesting experience, I'm ready for something different. As a YouTuber, I have a unique opportunity to try out different brands and engine sizes. I'm going to be riding this Beta 200 and going back to the basics. I'm going to call this the Beta Project. If you're familiar with my videos from a long ago, I started this channel and called it First Year Moto Trials. I picked up a lot of traction because I was sharing things that I was learning, and now I want to go back and learn those basics again. In a recent national, I rode the Clubman line, and I never did a splat, a zap. Everything was about turning, clutch control, throttle control, choosing the right line, and body positioning. Oh yeah, we did a few wheelies, but overall the techniques I've been working on didn't help when it came to actually winning a competition or getting on the podium. I don't regret my time pursuing the fun stuff because I was getting a workout and I was intoxicated by the drug and the addiction of learning exciting moves. It was definitely fun. I fell in love with this sport and still have a passion. However, I want to set my sights more keenly on competitive riding, and so for now, I'm going to be focusing on those basics. The points I did drop in the national on the Clubman line weren't due to a lack of cool, sexy trials techniques. They were most often because of a bad line choice or being out of body position, not having good turning skills and dealing with those bumpy rocks. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still going to play, ride, and have fun, but I think what you're going to see in the next few series of videos is going back to a greater emphasis on those basics. Now, when it comes to the 200, this thing is nice and smooth. It's tractable. The throttle is just a nice linear progression. I have found it to be a very friendly bike. It's definitely very rideable. Having said that, it also produces plenty of power. In fact, I don't think there's ever been a time in a section where I've gone max throttle and said, I need a bigger engine. I wish I had more CCs. So stepping back down to this 200, I think I'm going to be using a little bit more of that throttle range, but even still, I doubt I'm going to be going max throttle. As Ray said in the video, anytime you are riding a motorcycle in an event, if you're not going max throttle, you're probably carrying around too much engine. You don't need that big of a CC. It's just electric smooth. I definitely think this is going to be a bike I'm going to enjoy because it's about that control and that precision as you're riding, and that's something that this bike does really, really well. Now, for those of you who are hungry to learn those basics, I did put skills in order that you guys can see on the website. I've got a bunch more available online. Now, if you just came for the entertainment and kind of free tips, I'm happy to have followers, and your support means a lot. You can hit that like button and do me a big favor. So to kick things off, I do have a free mini course on turning. You can pick that up on Google and iTunes. My new app is called Trials Progression, and inside of there, you can get a free course on turning on cambers. In the next video, I'm going to dive into the setup of this factory 200, as well as share some of my thoughts as I've started riding it.